We are now live.
Okay. And you got the right screen and everything?
Correct. Comments.
All right. By golly.
How did that
these have to be marked with auspiciousness
Yes.
and gravitas because
Oh, yes.
it so rarely happens that we are glitch free.
I know. How did that happen?
I don't know. Just lucky, I guess. Someone's up in the clouds for a Saturday afternoon flight out there.
Yes, I hear them going along up there. Just as long as they keep going along up there.
Yeah, keep going in the general direction of up.
And steady.
Yeah.
Steady men. Or women, it might be.
Could be a kid.
Oh, no. Could it have been a drone?
No, drones don't make that kind of... drones are pretty quiet.
Jenna is here from Chicago.
Hello,
Hi,
Jenna.
Welcome.
I hope you're having a nice visit.
Yes.
It's awfully nice of you to join us.
Absolutely.
And hello to anyone else at your place that might be listening. It's wonderful that you could take part of your Thanksgiving holiday with us.
Welcome. Well, whoever it was went on.
Yeah.
Fix my mic a little better. We have just about 1 o'clock.
Just about 1 o'clock.
Yes.
Let me know when we have 1 o'clock. And
Well, I can't know. This clock says 1, and it's the only.
what about your... Oh, you can't see your
Can't
computer,
see the
can
computer.
you? All right, well, good enough.
Good enough. That's what I
We're
say.
good enough. Hello, everybody. Hope all of you in the U.S. who celebrated Thanksgiving had a good holiday on Thursday.
Indeed. We have Judy Knudsen, hi from Texas. Enjoy
Hello, Judy.
your music, and then musical note.
Great to see you again.
Yes, welcome.
Hope you're doing well out there.
And Bob Hale. Bob and Brenda
Hello,
here
Bob and
from
Bren.
Suffolk, UK, with our baby 8-week-old dachshund Reggie.
Oh, you got him.
It's 7 p.m. here.
Yep.
Goodness,
Yep.
into the evening.
You're 6 hours ahead of us.
Yes. Good to have you.
Yes, indeed. Always a pleasure to have you folks visit with us. I don't know, Bob, if either one of you do the Fortnite Song Circle, but I'm gonna try that this Sunday. I'm a glutton for punishment, I guess. Anyway, let's get on with it here.
Yes.
This show is entitled "What's in a Name?" and it consists of songs that have someone's name in the title. So we'll start out with one that was written by Shel Silverstein and recorded by Johnny Cash back in 68 or 69, I can't remember which. And the first time I heard it, I was in a summer training program to do small appliance repair. And now we don't repair small appliances. We simply throw them away and fill up the landfill and buy a new one. But back then, you know, we repaired things like irons and toasters and coffee pots and mixers and drills and saws and all that kind of stuff. And it was a training program for men, and I was into it. I was led into it because of a favor that was being done. And we were out running for parts in the company's parts truck. And the guy's driving's name was Cheatwood, and he was a wild and crazy guy. I think he was a reformed biker. And he just didn't care what he said or did or anything. He was a big old boy. And this song came on the radio. And he got to listening to it, and then he got to laughing. And he got to laughing so hard, the truck's kind of zigzagging down the road, and he finally had to pull over until the song ended. The name of the song is A Boy Named Sue. Well, my daddy left home when I was 3. He didn't leave much to Ma and me, just this old guitar and an empty bottle of booze. Now, I don't blame him 'cause he run and hid, but the meanest thing that he ever did was before he left, he went and named me Sue. Well, he must have thought that it was quite a joke, and it got a lot of laughs from lots of folks, and it seemed like I had to fight my whole life through. Some gal would giggle and I'd get red, and some guy'd laugh and I'd bust his head. I tell you, life ain't easy for a boy named Sue. Well, I grew up quick and I grew up mean. My fists got hard, my wits got keen, and I roamed from town to hide my shame. Well, I made me a vow to the moon and stars that I'd search the honky-tonks and bars and kill that man that give me that awful name. Well, it was Gatlinburg in mid-July, and I'd just hit town and my throat was dry, and I thought I'd stop and have myself a brew. In an old saloon on a street of mud, there at a table, dealing studs, sat the dirty, mangy dog that named me Sue. Well, I knew that snake was my own sweet dad from a worn-out picture that my mother had, and I knew that scar on his cheek and his evil eye. He was big and bent and gray and old, and I looked at him and my blood ran cold, and I said, "My name is Sue. How do you do? Now you're gonna die." Well, I hit him hard right between the eyes, and he went down, but to my surprise, he come up with a knife and cut off a piece of my ear. So I busted a chair right across his teeth, and we crashed through the wall and into the street, kicking and gouging in the mud and the blood and the beer. Well, I'll tell you, I fought tougher men, but I really can't remember when. He kicked like a mule and he bit like a crocodile. Well, I heard him laugh and I heard him cuss, and he went for his gun, and I pulled mine first, and he stood there looking at me, and I saw him smile, and he said, "Son, this world is rough, and if a man's gonna make it, he's gotta be tough," and I knew I wouldn't be there to help you along. So I give you that name and I said goodbye. I knew you'd have to get tough or die. It's that name that helped to make you strong. He said, "Now you just fought one hell of a fight, and I know you hate me and you got the right to kill me now, and I wouldn't blame you if you do. But you ought to thank me before I die for the gravel in your guts and the spit in your eye, 'cause I'm the son of a gun that named you Sue." What could I do? I got all choked up and I threw down my gun, called him my paw and he called me his son, and I come away with a different point of view. And I think about him now and then, every time I try and every time I win, and if I ever have a son, I think I'm going to name him Bill or George, anything but Sue.
Oh, Pat is here.
Hello, Pat. Top of the evening to you.
And he said, "Hi, George and your wife." I've got quite a few comments. I think.
Good.
Let me see if I can get him to scroll down here. Come on. Sometimes I have a little bit of trouble with this thing. Now, there we go. Went too far. Hang in there, folks. There are quite a few.
Oh, wonderful.
I'm going to catch up. I saw Lavonda.
Hello, LaWanda.
She said, I am finally here. And then Pat said, have a bit of a cold, which I'm sorry to hear.
Sorry to hear that. Hey, LaWanda, hope you're doing good. And Heather?
Yes. And he said, Pat said it's cold there.
Yeah, it's a little chilly here, too. Not like it was.
Weather is very cold in Ireland, is what
Yeah.
he said. And I think I saw Philippa. Let me bring this down. Yeah, Philippa's here.
Hey, Philippa.
Alderton. Hi, guys.
Welcome.
With a smile face. And Ziggy harped us.
Hello, Ziggy from Germany.
Yes. Hi, George and Lynn.
Good
Greetings
evening.
again from Germany. Sorry for being 5 minutes late. That's all right.
Well, we're usually late. See that? You know that. If that's the problem when we're finally on time.
Yeah, we and no big problem.
Nothing went wrong this time. Fine.
And we have Ivan Stiles.
Hello, Ivan.
Hi, Lynn and George. Happy
Nan.
Saturday. And Bob Hale is saying, my brother Ray Hale used to play and sing this song. I have about 400 of his record collection. The best Johnny Cash LP is From Sea to Shiny Sea.
Yeah, that is a good one.
Yeah.
Indeed, it
I
is.
love Johnny Cash.
All right.
Man in Black.
Is that everybody?
Yes.
Well, we've
I believe I'm caught up here.
Got a good crowd to start with.
Yes.
Hope everybody
good to see everybody.
had
Good
a
to have you.
had a happy Thanksgiving.
Yes.
This is an obscure country song that I don't think I've ever played on here before. It's called, and in case anybody doesn't know, the theme today is What's in a Name. Every song has someone's name in the title. And this one's called Happy Harry's Honky Tonk and Package Liquor Store. Hey, Happy Harry's Honky Tonk and Package Liquor Store. It's not a place for ball games, but a man can really score. Don't look down your nose at me, I've seen you there before. At Happy Harry's Honky Tonk and Package Liquor Store. Well, last week Happy Harry cashed my check for 2 weeks' pay. I found a corner table as the band began to play. I ordered ice and chasers and a pint of 7 Crown, poured myself a double-double, and then started looking around. Before too long I spotted just what I was looking for. She was passing time with Harry at the corner of the bar. I'm sober looking back on just what happened there that night. I realized that how much that her and Harry looked alike. Hey, Happy Harry's Honky Tonk and Package Liquor Store. It's not a place for ball games, but a man can really score. Now don't look down your nose at me, I've seen you there before. At Happy Harry's Honky Tonk and Package Liquor Store. Well, I woke up next morning with a knot behind my ear, on the floorboard of my pickup truck with a half a case of beer. I'm busted now, but Friday, when the eagle flies once more, it's back to Happy Harry's Honky Tonk and Package Liquor Store. Hey, Happy Harry's Honky.
I have a message that says connect streaming software to go live, and now we're back. I never saw anything change on the live video message, but for a minute I think we
Well,
lost
we may
our
have
connection
dropped
somehow.
out for a second.
Sorry about that.
Hopefully it wasn't too long.
Philip said silenced a couple times, so something happened to us.
Yeah, well,
Shoot.
The internet gods are not with us today. I knew we couldn't have a totally trouble-free day. It wouldn't be right. Anyway, keep an eye on it.
Can't have everything, as they say.
Where would you put it?
Flip said 3 times 1 long. Okay, thank you.
Yes, indeed.
Shoot.
Well,
Let us know if it happens again, if we are available. Bob said same here.
so it's pretty much it's on our end somewhere.
Yeah.
There's really nothing I could do other than take 5 minutes out and restart the stream, and that may or may not do anything. Let's just see
Let's see how it goes. Let us know if it happens again.
I knew it was too good to be true.
Well,
This song was written and recorded by Jimmy Dean, who is now famous for his pure pork sausage, which has lasted a whole lot longer than his singing career did. And he made a lot of money, had a TV show for a while. In fact, his show was the first place that Jim Henson performed with his Muppets.
oh, wow.
He had
didn't know that.
a beagle dog named Rolf that was supposedly had a crush on Lassie, because this was back in the 60s.
Right.
And they actually got Judd Weatherwax to bring one of his lassies to the show, and they put something on the puppet, and he's licking his face and everything, and the puppet's all embarrassed. Anyway, this was, I think, Jimmy's first hit. It's called Big John. Big John, Big John. Every morning at the mine you could see him arrive. He stood 6'6" and weighed 245, kind of broad at the shoulder and narrow at the hip. And everybody knew you didn't give no lip to Big John. Big John, Big John, Big Bad John, Big John. Nobody seemed to know where John called home. He just drifted into town and stayed all alone. He didn't say much, kind of quiet and shy. And if you spoke at all, you just said hi to Big John. Somebody said he came from New Orleans, where he got in a fight over a Cajun queen, and a crashing blow from a huge right hand sent a Louisiana fella to the promised land. Big John. Big John, Big John, Big Bad John. Then came the day at the bottom of the mine when a timber cracked and men started crying. Miners were praying and hearts beat fast. Everybody thought they'd breathe their last, except John. Through the dust and the smoke of this man-made hell walked a giant of a man that the miners knew well. Grabbed a sagging timber, gave out with a groan, and like a giant oak tree just stood there alone. Big John. Big John, Big John, Big Bad John, Big John. And with all of his strength he gave a mighty shove. Then a miner yelled out, "There's a light up above," and 20 men scrambled from a would-be grave. Now there's only one left down there to save, Big John. With Jackson Timbers they started back down, then came that rumble way down in the ground, and then smoke and gas belched out of that mine. Everybody knew it was the end of the line for Big John. Big John, Big John, Big Bad John, Big John. Now they never reopened that worthless pit, they just placed a marble stand in front of it. These few words are written on that stand. At the bottom of this mine lies a big, big man. Big John. Big John. Big John. A big bad John. Big John. Big John. Big bad John.
Philip said loved Big John.
Yeah. There's been a million parodies of that. I wrote one about Ronald Reagan. Big Ron.
Big Ron. Bay Allen is here. He
Hello,
said,
Bay.
I remember that song.
Yeah, it's a good one.
It's a good one.
That's a good one. Yes, indeed. Good to see you, Bay. For sure. Don't know if you got Dan Pressler's song yet. I'll be interested to see what you do with it. Little inside baseball there.
Bob Hale said, Loon Green from Banabs sang it.
Really?
Lauren Green. I
Oh,
think
Lauren Green.
Yeah, I think the R and the E are missing. It's a typing thing.
Yeah.
From Bonanza.
From Bonanza. Yeah, he sang it.
I got it.
Jimmy Dean had a hit with it. It kind of catapulted him into stardom.
I'm pretty sure I remember Lauren Green singing.
Lauren Green
he had
did
that kind of voice. That was perfect.
Well, he was before he got into TV and all, he was a radio newscaster for the CBC, the Canadian Broadcasting Company.
Oh my!
Lauren Green did the news on radio for years and years, and then he, became Ben Cartwright.
They said, "I got it," and a smile face.
Yeah. This song was requested by Fiona Lee, and I don't know if you're on there, Fiona. This is your song. It's called "My Name Is Sam." Don't know who wrote it. It was recorded by Berkeley Hart. My name is Sam, and I'm the family dog. I lie around sleeping all day long, while Trevor's at school, I'm home alone. And I run to the door when Trevor gets home, and he hugs my neck and says my name. He throws the ball for a while, then he's off again. And it's just a few minutes of his time, and I'm just another stop along his way. But those few minutes when he's all mine are the best few minutes of my whole day. My name is Trevor, and I'm in the 6th grade. My father's name is Ben, and he works long days. After school, I'm home alone, and I run to the door when my dad gets home. And he ruffles my hair, and we talk about stuff. He makes me dinner, and I go to bed. And it's just a few minutes of his time, and I'm just another stop along his way. But those few minutes when he's all mine are the best few minutes of my whole day. Well, my name is Ben. I'm a single dad. father's in a home and he's getting real bad. And I go to see him, Trevor and Sam. And most of the time, he don't know who I am. But sometimes, there's a light in his eye. He says my name, and we talk about stuff. And it's just a few minutes of his time. And I'm just another stop along his way. But those few minutes when he's all mine are the best few minutes of my whole day. Well, I'm an old man and I've lost my mind. I can't tell what's real most of the time. But there's a boy named Trevor and a man named Ben. I've seen them before, but I'm not sure when. And they always bring a dog named Sam, who licks his face and lays his head in my hand. And it's just a few minutes of his time. And I'm just another spot along his way. But those few minutes, that dog's all mine, are the best few minutes of my whole day. My name is Sam, and I'm the family dog. Lie around sleeping all day long.
That one needed Kleenex. Sorry. Mary Williams is
Hey,
here.
Mary.
Hello, you.
How are ya?
George and Lynn, hope you had a nice Thanksgiving.
Oh, we did. I hope you did too. It's great to see you.
Oh, Flip said liked Big Bad Bruce too.
Yes, that was good.
Oh. Yeah, we had a nice Thanksgiving. I hope you did too. I hope all of you did.
Well, all of you who celebrate the holiday.
Of course, those who don't.
Our friends
Well, you could.
across the pond, as they say. Yeah, don't.
Yes.
The Canadians celebrate it, but they celebrate it in October.
Oh. Well, that. I should probably know that.
All right.
Wait, we have Joe Harrell.
Hello, Joe from Texas.
He says, my name is Joe. How are you?
Well, I'm real good. I tell you what, ever since I took that Sam Carnegie course, I haven't had any trouble remembering people's names, you know.
Mary says, it's been a while.
It really has.
And Flip said, they're welcome to celebrate Day 2.
That's
yes,
right.
That's right.
Turkeys were up to like $5 a pound.
I did hear that.
You want to cook a 20-pound turkey, some places it set you back a Benjamin.
Yeah.
A C note.
Oh, Mary said, yes, we did. I fixed ribs. See?
Oh, okay. There you
go.
Wow, I haven't had
I'll
ribs
bet they were
for a
good,
while.
too. I was just thinking.
We got to do that.
Ribs. Oh,
I
man.
really shouldn't eat them because of the sugar in the barbecue sauce, but hey. Yeah. All right. Well, we've started
Flip
out.
said I had duck. Well, my goodness.
My goodness.
I'll bet that was good.
That reminds me. I was in guide dog class one time back in 91 when I got Bullet, my second German Shepherd, out in California. The cook, her name was Mrs. Price, and she was a wonderful cook, but she had a very thick Tuvalu accent. She was a Filipino. you know. So this one day, you know, she would always come out and tell everybody what we had to eat. You know, tonight we have, right? So she comes out and she says, tonight we have roast dog. And you know, everybody's going, what? And she must have turned around to look at us or something. And she said, no, roast duck. I said, I don't want to eat that. Now we know what they do with the ones that don't make the cut.
Right. Flip said, better size for 2 people to have
True.
duck. And they said, my wife makes those chestnuts, or makes these chestnuts wrapped in bacon, smothered in barbecue. 3 exclamation points.
Oh, my goodness. Where do you ever find chestnuts?
Yeah, there's
They had
a
a plague that almost wiped out the American chestnut tree. And I remember back when I was in college, I would ride a bus from my college near Dayton, Ohio.
Oops, your mic is getting...
Hey, Lulu. Lulu is...
she's adjusting.
She's going to be my sound tech here. Hey.
Oh, Bay said water chestnut.
Oh, water chestnut.
Yeah.
I was going to say.
He said sorry. And then Philip said chestnuts have been coming back.
Well, they have. And that's
Yes.
one day I would ride the bus to Columbus, and because Dad worked there as a mail carrier. And is my mic where it belongs?
Let me adjust them.
Yeah. Lulu was...
Yeah, she was ruthless about that. And this looks better. Let's see.
Yeah, let's okay. Anyway, so I rode in one day, and he picked me up at the bus station. He said, son, I got some chestnuts.
Right.
And I'm going to put them in the freezer all winter, and I'm going to plant them next spring, and you're going to live to see real chestnuts. He was so excited. My dad was an avid gardener. He could grow anything. Oh, he could have been rich if he'd ever decided to grow weed. But
Couple folks here.
Mm-hmm.
Bob said, love the song My Dog. Sam, glad tissues were handy. Thanks, Fiona. Reggie is happy here. And thanks, Fiona, he said. Reggie is happy here. And Kurt Gleason is with us.
Hey, Kurt!
He said, good stuff, guys.
All right.
And Flip said the video stopped. Shoot.
Uh-oh.
Not again.
Well.
We're still here. I don't know if you can hear us.
If you can, somebody let us know.
Yeah, ours seems to... No, it's ours is... What I'm seeing hasn't.
We're moving around and everything?
Yes.
Okay.
They
right.
said, I hear you. So we're having video issues again.
Well,
What is causing that?
at least you can hear us. I don't know, Lynn, and short of taking it off the air and dissecting it piece by piece.
Bay says everything's fine now. Bay said, I hear you. And Flip said, sound good. Video froze. Then Bay said, everything seems fine.
Okay.
And Bay said, video is good.
All right. Well,
Okay, I don't know
it's
what
one of those
happened to
days.
us.
Maybe, anyway.
Lavonda said, I can hear and see you.
Oh,
Thank
good.
you.
Thanks, Lavonda. All right. Well, we will just plow forward here.
And Ziggy said, apart from some hiccups, the reception is fine here.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Ziggy.
After those hiccups.
Great to see everybody. All right.
Yes.
We've been kind of serious so far. This song was written by Kelly Lovelace, Chris Dubois, and Brad Paisley, and was recorded by Brad Paisley, and it's called Harvey Bodine.
Flips this back on.
Great. Harvey Bodine died at 11:09, and he left behind a miserable wife. Oh, but at 11:14, His heart came back on the screen, thanks to that defib machine. He came back to life. Oh, but those 5 minutes were heaven. A piece of life, a piece unlike he'd ever known. And as he came back to the living, he said, please God, don't make me go back to life. They told him what happened, how that green light had flattened. Harvey just started laughing. He said, you're telling me I died? Oh, and he thought about that woman, how she treated him for years. All the yelling and the screaming and the nagging and the tears, and the way it really wasn't all that bad when he lost his life. Because those 5 minutes were heaven, a peace unlike he'd ever known. But now he was back with the living, and he found himself reaching for the phone. He called his lawyer, he called his priest, told him about how they'd restarted his heart, and how his wedding vows were technically till death do us part. You'll probably judge me, and so be it. But you know, boys, this is how I see it. Harvey Bodine died at 11:09, and he left behind a miserable wife. Oh, but at 11:14, his heart came back on the screen, thanks to that defib machine. I've come back to life.
Yeah. Lavonda said, to finish your chestnut story, the trees are huge, and there's enough chestnuts every year for an army.
God, I wish I could get some.
Oh, I know, but that is just heartwarming, really. I think it's wonderful.
And she said she now knows firsthand about the song Under the Spreading Chestnut Tree, because it's, like she said, she told me it's huge.
And
so
Ivan
cool.
said, got to go, folks. Have to run an errand for my daughter. Catch you later.
Hey, thanks for stopping by, Ivan. We'll see you later on this evening, hopefully, and tomorrow for a while, too.
Yes.
All right, where we are here. Okay. This song was written by Peter Lafarge and recorded by Johnny Cash, and it's called Ira Hayes. Ira Hayes, Ira Hayes. Call him drunken Ira Hayes, he won't answer anymore. Not the whiskey-drinking Indian or the Marine that went to war. Gather around me, people, there's a story I would tell about a brave young Indian you should remember well, from the land of the Pima Indian, a proud and noble band who farmed the Phoenix Valley in Arizona land. Down the ditches 1,000 years the waters grew Ira's people's crops, till the white man stole their water rights and the sparkling waters stopped. Now Ira's folks were hungry, and their land grew crops and weeds. When war came, Ira volunteered and forgot the white man's greed. Call him drunken Ira Hayes, he won't answer anymore. Not the whiskey-drinking Indian, nor the Marine that went to war. There they battled up Iwo Jima Hill, 250 men, but only 27 lived to walk back down again. And when the fight was over, and Old Glory raised, among the men who held it high was the Indian, Ira Hayes. Call him drunken Ira Hayes, he won't answer anymore. Not the whiskey-drinking Indian, nor the Marine that went to war. Ira Hayes returned a hero, celebrated through the land. He was wined and speeched and honored. Everybody shook his hand. But he was just a Pima Indian. No water, no home, no chance. At home nobody cared what Ira'd done, and when did the Indians dance. Call him drunken Ira Hayes, he won't answer anymore. Not the whiskey-drinking Indian, nor the Marine that went to war. Then Ira started drinking hard. Jail was often his home. They let him raise the flag and lower it, like you throw a dog a bone. He died drunk early one morning. Alone in the land he fought to save. 2 inches of water in a lonely ditch was the grave of Ira Hayes. Call him drunken Ira Hayes, he won't answer anymore. Not the whiskey-drinking Indian, nor the Marine that went to war. Yeah, call him drunken Ira Hayes, but his land is just as dry, and his ghost is lying thirsty in the ditch where Ira died. My foot's gone to sleep here.
That's terrible.
Yeah,
That doesn't usually happen.
not the best thing that could happen.
Yeah. That was a good song.
Yeah, I like that.
I like that.
All right. Here's a song that Lynn has been asking me to do.
And we have percussion off to the side.
That's
Thank you,
Lulu on the drums.
Yes, he scratched something.
Billy Wheeler, Jerry Lever, and Mike Stoller wrote this one. I'd let Indy loose, but he wants to play with Sadie.
Right, and that's all that would happen.
That's all that would happen.
And things would then begin to get knocked over.
Yeah, and Sadie
And that would be Sadie's fault, but she wouldn't be able to help
Sadie
it.
won't get off her bed, but she will snarl at the pup. She's
Well, that's
trying to
true.
teach him house manners, and she's making progress, but
Yeah, she does speak to him.
she does. At first, she did not deign to do that.
Literally.
She was hoping that he would soon be sold and things could get back to normal.
We could trade her for trade him for something.
Yes. Some dog food.
Yes.
Probably get 4 or 5 bags for him, you
That's
know.
right.
All right. Billy Wheeler, Jerry Lever, and Mike Stoller wrote this. The Kingston Trio recorded it, and it's called The Reverend Mr. Black. He rode easy in the saddle, he was tall and lean, and at first you thought nothing but a streak of mean could make a man look so downright strong, but one look in his eyes and you knowed you was wrong. He was a mountain of a man, and I want you to know he could preach hot hell or a freezing snow. He carried a Bible in a canvas sack, and folks just called him the Reverend Mr. Black. He was poor as a beggar, but he rode like a king. Sometimes in the evenings I could hear him sing. I gotta walk that lonesome valley. I gotta walk it by myself. Oh, nobody else can walk it for me. I got to walk it by myself. If ever I could have thought this man in black was soft and had any yellow up his back, I gave that notion up today. A lumberjack came in and it wasn't to pray. Yeah, he kicked open the meeting house door and he cussed everybody up and down the floor. And then when things got quiet in the place, he walked up and cussed in the preacher's face. He hit that reverend like the kick of a mule, and to my way of thinking, it took a pure fool to turn the other cheek to that lumberjack. But that's what he did, the Reverend Mr. Black. He stood like a rock, a man among men, and he let that lumberjack hit him again, and then with a voice as quiet as could be, he cut him down like a big oak tree when he said, "You got to walk that lonesome valley. You got to walk it by yourself. Oh, nobody else can walk it for you. You got to walk it by yourself." It's been many years since we had to part, and I guess I learned his ways by heart. I can still hear his sermons ring down in the valley where he used to sing. I followed him, yes, sir, and I don't regret it. And I hope I will always be a credit to his memory, because I want you to understand the Reverend Mr. Black was my old man. You got to walk that lonesome valley. You got to walk it by yourself. Oh, nobody else can walk it for you. You got to walk it by yourself. You got to walk that lonesome valley. You got to walk it by yourself. Oh, nobody else can walk it for you. You got to walk it by yourself. One more. You got to walk that lonesome valley. You got to walk it by yourself. Oh, nobody else can walk it for you. You got to walk it by yourself. Nice.
Well, I just had to join in on that one. I love that song. The Reverend Mr. Black. A big, big man.
Yeah, we'll have to do that more often.
Yeah. I enjoyed that.
That was great. I never thought,
Well, I couldn't help it. That just was good.
All right, here's a song.
Ziggy said, "More of the beautiful harmony singing, please." Thank you.
I don't know if she knows any of these other songs.
Well, I might join in if I do.
We might try to work something up, improvise something for Sweet Betsy from Pike.
I don't know if I know the words, but
Oh yeah, that's a problem. Anyway, we're gonna do that. We did a show. Our 46 Wonderful Years show was mostly duets.
Yeah, it was duets.
Yeah, but the problem right now, Lynn is restarting her art career.
Yes.
And what with taking care of all of us and doing that, it really doesn't leave her time to work on music much. and she is now getting involved in painting glassware.
Yes. I don't have any back here right now, but
well, maybe by the next show you'll have
I'll bring.
You'll have that mug I want.
Yes. Lavonda said, "I love it when you guys harmonize."
Thanks, Lavonda.
Thank you.
This is a song. There was a summer camp that was for 1 week in the summer. They adapted it for blind folks. They added extra counselors and everything, so we could go to camp just like everybody else. And it actually, that experience is what gave me my love of the country and the woods and everything. And this is one of the songs that we all loved when we'd sit around the campfire. There are several versions of this. This one is basically the Canadian version. It's the one I learned. And it's called The Wonderful Sausage Machine. There was a jolly Dutchman, his name was John Rebeck. He made the finest sausages and sauerkraut and speck. He made the finest sausages you'd ever want to see. And one day he invented the wonderful sausage machine. Oh, Mr. John Rebeck, how could you be so mean? I told you you'd be sorry for inventing that machine. Now all the dogs and cats and rats will never more be seen. They'll all be ground as sausages in John Rebeck's machine. One day a boy came walking in the store. He bought a pound of sausages and laid 'em on the floor. The boy began to whistle, he whistled up a tune, and all the little sausages went dancing round the room. Oh, Mr. John Rebeck, how could you be so mean? I told you you'd be sorry for inventing that machine. Now all the dogs and cats and rats will never more be seen. They'll all be ground as sausages in John Rebeck's machine. One day the thing got busted, the damn thing wouldn't go. So John Rebeck, he crawled inside to see what made it so. His wife was having nightmares while walking in her sleep. She gave the crank an awful yank and John Rebeck was meat. Oh, Mr. John Rebeck, how could you be so mean? I told you you'd be sorry for inventing that machine. Now all the dogs and cats and rats will never more be seen. They'll all be ground as sausages in John Rebeck's machine.
That's a great camp song, though. You know?
Yeah, my kids loved that.
Yeah, kids love that song.
That and the crocodile song. They always asked for
I
them.
remember that.
They always asked for those two. Well, we can't do the crocodile song today because it doesn't have anybody's name in it.
Right.
This next song, I forgot. If you're joining us for the first time, leave a comment. Introduce yourself. This is kind of like a visit. We see it as everybody sitting around the back porch in the summertime and in the living room in the wintertime when it's cold, and we're playing music and talking and just visiting with each other. That's why it's, other than the fact that I'm not perfect, that's why it's not perfect. I'd love to have it, note perfect, but that's, not going to happen. But we'd love to get to know you. We have made a host of good friends doing this.
Oh, yes.
We've been doing it since the spring of 2019, a year before the pandemic hit. This is our 73rd show, and we do it the second and fourth Saturdays of every month. You can gain more information if you go to autoharpdownhome.com, or, of course, if you go right here to the Autoharp Down Home Facebook page. But hey, if you're new, don't be shy. Leave us a comment.
Absolutely.
We'd love to get to know you and where you're from and a little bit about you. This song was written and recorded by Dick Feller, and it's called Daisy Hill. Flat broken, bound for Memphis to see about a job. And halfway there, the poor old bus broke down. They said it'd be 2 hours before we all could leave. So I thought I'd take a walk and see the town. Thinking I had a quarter in the corner of my jeans, I ordered coffee in this small cafe. But when I searched my pockets, not a penny could I find. And when they brought the bill, I could not pay. Just then a well-dressed lady came and sat down next to me. From her purse she pulled a $1 bill. She said, I'll buy your coffee. Been down and out myself. And by the way, they call me Daisy Hill. Daisy Hill, your velvet eyes are burning through my mind. Your quiet lips are smiling at me still. Though I know you could never love the likes of me, for you're too much of a lady, Daisy Hill. Well, I missed the bus to Memphis, but I found myself a job. Loading trucks, I earned a meager wage. And at a cheap motel nearby, I took a shabby room. I bought a week at 50 cents a day. And every day at 4 o'clock, I'd find my hurried feet were taking me back to that small cafe, where I would find her sitting in a padded corner booth. I'd sit with her and pass the time of day. And when Friday came around, I drew my first week's pay, and I gave her the first new $1 bill. And all the while my mind was filled with things I'd like to say, for I'd surely love the lady, Daisy Hill. Daisy Hill, your velvet eyes are burning through my mind. Your quiet lips are smiling at me still. Though I know that you could never love the likes of me, for you're too much of a lady, Daisy Hill. Last night my feet were restless, so I chose a strange new street. Halfway down there burned a scarlet light. And as I stood there listening to the music and the noise, a faint familiar voice came through the night. I stood outside the open door and stared in disbelief at a painted face that held the daisy's eyes. In quiet desperation, I heard my shattered mind say, look again, for surely you lie. A drunken man came through the door and he stumbled on the stairs. I caught him by the arm and held him still. Said, who is the dark-haired girl who wears the brocade gown? He said, why, that's the hooker, Daisy Hill. Daisy Hill, your velvet eyes are burning through my mind. Your quiet lips are smiling at me still. It hurts to see you waste your life behind those scarlet lights, for you're too much of a lady, Daisy Hill. Daisy Hill, your velvet eyes are burning through my mind. Your quiet lips are smiling at me still. Though I know that you could never love the likes of me, for you're too much of a lady, Daisy Hill.
Wow. I like that song.
I do too. And it's not your average simple 3-chord song either. It's fun to play, and you can put a lot of feeling into it, both in the vocal and the instrumental. Okay, this was written by Ben Foltzfive, and it was recorded by the New Christie Minstrels, and it's called Julianne. The shady side with treasures few, still he promised rings of silver, for to prove his love was true. Have you seen her in the moonlight, silver rings upon her hand? Now she wears a crown of sorrow, and her name is Julianne. Wake me early in the morning, ere the birds begin to sing. I'll get silver from the mountain, and I'll fashion ye a ring. Off he rode across the mountain, when the fields were damp with dew, but instead he went a-rambling, and a-courtin' Jenny Lou. Have you seen her in the moonlight, silver rings upon her hand? Now she wears a crown of sorrow, and her name is Julianne. dying in the gloomy candlelight. They found a shattered empty rifle and the shawl she used to wear. What they never found is Julie, and they never found that hungry bear. Have you seen her in the moonlight? Silver rings upon her hand. Now she wears a crown of sorrow, and her name is Julianne.
Wow.
That's another song that's just great to play. I can sit here and just, in fact, a couple of times when I was practicing, I start playing that, and about 15 minutes later, I'd come out of my trance and say,
Right.
you really ought to work on the rest of the song.
Ziggy said, I love your beautiful singing, George, and your playing, too.
Thank you, Ziggy. Thank you very much.
Then I think we lost for a minute trying to... And Pat said, having my Irish toddy.
Ah, yes.
Yes. And Philippa said, stopped again. And I think Ziggy said it did here, too. And then, but it's back. And quite nice playing of those quick notes, he said. Ziggy did.
Thank you, Ziggy.
So...
I might play that for the Song Circle one time.
Oh, yeah, you should. That's a beauty.
I wish you guys could get in on that. It's a whole lot of fun. A bunch of us get together on Zoom, and we go around the circle, and everybody plays a song. And then if there's time, everybody plays another one. And we're all real good friends. We've all gotten to know each other. They're some of the best friends I've never met.
Well, not all of them, because you met Ivan, I believe. And
I did meet Ivan. But of that group, I think he's the only one.
He may be the only one.
All right. This is a traditional song that was written around 1847 or so, when people were going west to the gold fields and the wagon trains and all of that. And you used to hear a heavily expurgated version of this on kids' shows like Captain Kangaroo. It's called Sweet Betsy from Pike. They'd sing some of the... But actually, it's quite a bawdy little ballad here, and it has 15 verses.
Oh, my.
So I'm going to see if I can remember them all. Oh, do you remember sweet Betsy from Pike, who went across the plains with her lover Ike, with one yoke of oxen, a big spotted hog, a tall Shanghai rooster, and one yellow dog. One evening quite early they camped on the Platte. 'Twas next to the road on a green shady flat. Sweet Betsy was tired, laid down to repose, while Ike he stood gazing at his Pike County rose. Out on the prairie one bright starry night, they opened some barrels and Betsy got tight. She sang and she screamed and she danced o'er the plain, and showed her bare legs to the whole wagon train. The Indians came down in a thundering horde, and Betsy was scared that they'd scalp her adored. So behind the front wagon wheel Betsy did crawl, and there she fought Indians with musket and ball. They came to the desert where Betsy gave out, and down in the sand she lay rolling about. while Ike in great wonder looked down in surprise, saying, Betsy, get up, you'll get sand in your eyes. Sweet Betsy got up in a great deal of pain and said she'd go back to Pike County again. But I gave a sigh and they fondly embraced, and they traveled along with his arm round their waist. They stopped at Salt Lake to inquire the way, and Brigham he swore that sweet Betsy should stay. But Betsy got scared and she ran like a deer, while Brigham stood pawing the ground like a steer. The alkali desert was burning and bare, and Ike's stout heart shrank from the death that lay there. Dear old Pike County, I'll go back to you, said Betsy, you'll be all alone if you do. The wagon broke down with a terrible crash, and out on the desert rolled all sorts of trash. Poor Betsy cried out as she stared at the mess. Ike loaded it up and they kept heading west. They swam the wild rivers and crossed the tall peaks, and camped on the trail for weeks upon weeks. Starvation and sickness, hard work and slaughter, they reached California spite of hell and high water. The horses ran off and the cattle all died, and the last piece of bacon that morning was fried. Poor Ike was discouraged and Betsy was mad. The dog drooped his tail and was terribly sad. At last they climbed up on a very high hill and stood looking down at old Placerville. Ike sighed and he said as he cast his eyes down, Sweet Betsy, my darling, we've got to hang town. Old Ike and sweet Betsy attended a dance. Ike wore a pair of his Pike County pants. Sweet Betsy, she dressed up in ribbons and rings. Said Ike, you're an angel, but where are your wings? A miner asked Betsy, will you dance with me? I will, you old hoss, if you don't get too free. Don't dance me too hard, do you wanna know why? Doggone you, I'm chock full of strong alkali. Now Long Ike and sweet Betsy were married, of course, but Ike soon got jealous and wanted divorce. And Betsy, well satisfied, said with a shout, so long, you big lawmix, I'm glad you backed out.
My goodness.
So you see, it's not the kids' song that you saw on TV years ago.
Here's Lulu.
Hi, Lulu.
Come to see
Have you come to adjust the mics again?
Yes.
Have you?
Or something.
She probably wants a drink.
Yeah.
But I can't get it out from behind this
I
stuff.
could take her to do that and take her out for a minute. I'd be
No,
gone for
she
a
doesn't need to go out.
Okay.
But,
Ivan says I'm back.
oh, good. Hope your errand went well, and thanks for tuning us back in, sir. That's all.
She'll be all right, I think. She's
Here's a song called Kelligrew's Soiree. It was written by Johnny Burke around 1925. It's a favorite with the Newfoundlanders, the Newfies up in Canada. And this version was recorded by Burl Ives. So I'm going to see if I can do it justice here. Oh. You may talk of Clara Nolan's ball or anything you choose, but it couldn't hold a snuff box to the spree at Killigrew's. If you want your eyeballs straightened, just come out next week with me, and you'll have to wear your glasses at the Kelligrew soiree. There was birch rind, tarred twine, cherry wine and turpentine, jowls and avalanches, gingerbread and tea, pig's feet, cat's meat, dumplings boiled in a sheet, dandelion and crackers teeth at Kelligrew soiree. Oh, I borrowed Clooney's beaver as I squared my yards to sail, and a swallowtail from Hogan that was foxy on the tail. Billy Cudahy's old working pants and Patsy Nolan's shoes, and an old white vest from Fogarty to sport at Kelligrew. There was Dan, Millie, Joe, Lily, Tan, and Mrs. Tilly, dancing like a little filly 'twould raise her heart to see. Jim Bryan, Din Ryan, Flipper Smith, and Caroline, I tell you boys, we had a time at Kelligrew soiree. Oh, when I arrived at Betsy Snook's that night at 8:30, the place was blocked with carriages stood waiting at the gate. With Clooney's funnel on my pate, the first words Betsy said, "Here comes a local preacher with the pulpit on his head." There was Bill Muse, Dan Hughes, Wilson Taft, and Teddy Rose, while Brian he sat in the blues looking hard at me. Tim Fling, Tom King, and Johnson, champion of the ring, and all the boxers I could bring to Kelligrew soiree. The Saratoga Lancers first, Miss Betsy kindly said, "Shall I danced with Nancy Cronin and her granny on the head. And Hogan danced with Betsy, oh, you should have seen his shoes, as he lashed old muskets from the rack that night at Kelligrew's. There was boiled guineas, cold guineas, bullocks' heads and little winnies, and everything to catch the pennies you'd break your sides to see. Boiled duff, cold duff, apple jam was in the cuff. I tell you boys, we had enough at Kelligrew soiree. Crooked Flavin struck the fiddler, and a hand I then played in. You should see George Clooney's beaver, flattened to the brim. And Hogan's coat was like a vest, the tails were gone, you see. Says I, the devil haul ye, and you Kelligrew soiree.
Wow, what a tongue twister.
Yeah.
My goodness. Uh-oh. My foot back here.
What's the matter?
Well, I'm wondering if I'm putting my foot on the wires or something that's causing that to stop. So I'm keeping my feet back just in
Doubt
case.
it. You could reach down and move them a little bit, but the fact that it comes in and out without you moving your feet.
No, I think I move my feet almost every time, but I don't know for
okay.
sure.
Well, keep.
So I'm
you
going
know,
to keep my feet still, guys. Maybe that's what was doing it.
do what you can.
Yeah.
I can't imagine that because the net cable, that leads directly by wire to the router.
Shouldn't be
It won't come out. It won't come loose anymore like that old cable did because the latch is there.
Okay.
All right.
Well, that's why I kept looking down. Is it me? Is it me? Am I doing it?
Yeah.
No. If I was, it would have gone out again.
Yeah. Here's one by Dick Feller, who's a writer that I really, writer and musician that I really like. I do several of his. This one he wrote and recorded, but Jerry Reed made a hit with it. Let's see, where are we supposed to be? Okay. It's called Lord Mr. Ford. Well, if you're one of the millions of people who own one of them gas-drinking, piston-clanking, air-polluting, smoke-belching buggies from Detroit City, pay attention. I'm fixing to sing your song, son. Well, I'm not a man appointed judge to bury a will or hold a grudge, but I think it's time I said me a few choice words. All about that demon automobile, the metal monster with the polyglass wheels, the end result of a dream of Henry Ford. Well, I've got a car that's mine alone, that me and the finance company own, a ready-made pile of manufactured grief. And if I ain't out of gas in pouring rain, I'm chained in a flat in a hurricane. I once spent 3 days lost on a clover leaf. Well, it ain't just the smoke and the traffic jam that makes me the bitter fool I am, but this four-wheel buggy is $1 me to death. For gas and oils and fluids and grease and wires and tires and antifreeze and them accessories, well, honey, that's something else. Well, you can get the internet and color TV, a backseat bar and reclining seats, and you just pay it once a month like you do your rent. Well, I figured it up, and over a period of time, this $20,000 car of mine cost $45,000.99. Well, my Lord, Mr. Ford, I just wish that you could see what your simple horseless carriage has become. It seems like contribution to man, say the least, got a little out of hand. Lord, Mr. Ford, what have you done? Now the average American father and mother own one whole car and a half of another, and I'll bet that half a car's a trick to drive, don't you? But the thing that amazes me, I guess, is the way we measure a man's success by the kind of automobile he can afford to buy. Well, now red light, green light, traffic cop, right turn, no turn, must turn, stop. Get out the credit card, honey, we're out of gas. Well, now all the cars placed end to end would reach to the moon and back again, and there'd probably be some fool pull out to pass. Well, now how I yearn for the good old days without that carbon monoxide haze hanging over the roar of the interstate. Well, if the Lord had made the moon and stars, it would have meant for you and me to have cars. He'd have seen that we was all born with a parking space. Come away with me, Lucille, in my smoking, choking automobile.
Lord, Mr. Ford.
Yep.
What have you done?
Lord, Mr. Ford, what have you done? All right. This song was written by David Marks, and it was sung by a group called Four Jacks and a Jill.
Really?
Okay, and it was their one and only hit. Kind of like Mary Hopkin with Those Were the Days and the Red Rubber Ball. The folks who cycle or circle with spelled with a Y. It's one of those. They're called one-hit wonders.
Oh.
And here's this one. It's called Master Jack. It's a strange, strange world we live in, Master Jack. You taught me all I know, and I never look back. It's a very strange world, and I thank you, Master Jack. You took a colored ribbon from out of the sky, taught me how to use it as the years went by, to tie up all your problems and make them look neat, then to sell them to the people in the street. It's a strange, strange world we live in, Master Jack. You taught me all I know, and I never look back. It's a very strange world, and I thank you, Master Jack. I saw right through the way you started teaching me now, so someday soon you could get to use me somehow. I thank you very much, and know you've been very kind, but I'd better move along before you change my mind. It's a strange, strange world we live in, Master Jack. No hard feelings if I'll never look back. It's a very strange world, and I thank you, Master Jack. You taught me all the things the way you'd like them to be. I'd like to see if other people agree. It's all very interesting the way you disguise, but I'd like to see the world through my own eyes. It's a strange, strange world we live in, Master Jack. No hard feelings if I never come back. You're a very strange man, and I thank you, Master Jack. You're a very strange man, and I thank you, Master Jack. You're a very strange man, aren't you, Master Jack? I like that picking, you know, that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know.
I do too. I see no more comments after Ivan's.
You have no more, did you say?
No more, just Ivan saying he's back.
Okay, well.
But that's okay, there probably aren't any. Not like I'm not seeing them.
Hopefully people are enjoying themselves, and
yes.
We'll...
We are at 2:25.
Yeah, we're good. Speaking of Ivan, this is a parody that he wrote of an old kind of sea shanty called Bring Back My Bonnie to Me. And given my particular tastes in music, I have to say that I like Ivan's lyrics a lot better than the originals. My Bonnie lies over the ocean. My Bonnie lies over the sea. My Bonnie lies over the ocean. Oh, bring back my Bonnie to me. Bring back, oh, bring back my Bonnie to me, to me. Bring back, oh, bring back my Bonnie to me. My Bonnie leaned over the gas tank, the height of its contents to see. I lit a small match to assist her. Oh, bring back my Bonnie to me. Bring back, oh, bring back my Bonnie to me, to me. Bring back, oh, bring back my Bonnie to me. Last night as I lay on my pillow, last night as I lay on my bed, I stuck my feet out of the window. Next morning the neighbors were dead. Bring Bonnie to me, to me. Bring back, oh, bring back my Bonnie to me. My mother makes beer in the bathtub. My father makes synthetic gin. My sister makes fudge for a quarter. Would you believe how the money rolls in? Bring back, oh, bring back my Bonnie to me, to me. Bring back, oh, bring back my Bonnie to me. My mother, she drowned in the bathtub. My father, he died from his gin. My sister, she choked on her chocolate. My stars, what a fix I am in. Bring back, oh, bring back my Bonnie to me, to me. Bring back, oh, bring back my Bonnie to me. I tried making beer in the bathtub. I tried making synthetic gin. I tried making fudge for a living. Now look at the shape that I'm in. Bring back, oh, bring back my Bonnie to me, to me. Bring back, oh, bring back my Bonnie to me.
Wow. Nan is here, Nancy
Hello,
Baker.
Nan.
Hi, good to see you.
Glad you could make it.
Yes, yes.
Good to see you. Here's a song by Woody Guthrie called Pretty Boy Floyd. If you'll gather round me, children, the story I will tell about Pretty Boy Floyd, an outlaw. Oklahoma knew him well. It was in the town of Shawnee, a Saturday afternoon. His wife beside him in his wagon, as into town they rode. Deputy sheriff approached him in a manner rather rude. Vulgar words of anger, and his wife she overheard. Pretty boy grabbed a log chain, the deputy grabbed his gun. In the fight that followed, he laid that deputy down. Then he took to the trees and timber along the river shore, hiding on the river bottom, and he never come back no more. Yes, he took to the trees and timber to live a life of shame. Every crime in Oklahoma was added to his name. But many a starving farmer the same old story told, how the outlaw paid their mortgage and saved their little home. Others tell you about a stranger that come to beg a meal. Underneath his napkin left $1,000 bill. It was in Oklahoma City, it was on a Christmas day. There was a whole carload of groceries, come with a note to say, will you say that I'm I'm an outlaw. You say that I'm a thief. Here's a Christmas dinner for the families on relief. Yes, through this world I've wandered. I've seen lots of funny men. Some will rob you with a 6-gun, and some with a fountain pen. And as through your life you travel, yes, as through your life you roam, you won't never see an outlaw drive a family from their home. Folks, you can still get a copy of our Forever Friends CD at autoharpdownhome.com. 14 songs telling the story of dog ownership from the time you pick out your dog until the day you have to say goodbye. We've had a tremendous response, better than I expected, I'll tell you that. This is made possible by a grant from Linda Cohen and Bob Grapple that they give every year. It's administered by the Mountain Laurel Autoharp Gathering. And last year's winner was Harvey Wagner, so his release party will be this June. Yes. We don't know who the winner is this year. We'll find out at the Mountain Laurel Autoharp Gathering. The idea is to put up a pretty nice chunk of change to allow someone who plays the autoharp and has never recorded before to make a CD. And I was fortunate enough to win the grant in 2021. And I wanted to share my good fortune with someone as deserving as I could. So we made the CD. A lot of people helped out with it. And other than the shipping cost to get it to you, all the other, so it's $20 a copy. Christmas is coming. If you know someone who's old like us and still got a CD player somewhere, it'd be a great Christmas gift for anybody who loves dogs. And all of the money, all of the proceeds go to support Southeastern Guide Dogs, where I got my great new guide, Indy.
Yes.
Whom I would love to have trot out right now, but he's still a kind of a wild and crazy guy, and he'll try to play with Sadie. Maybe next time I'll leash him and put him up here. But anyway, if you could see it in your heart and in your pocketbook to pick up a copy or 2 or 3 or 4 or whatever, you would be supporting a very worthy cause, and you'll be getting a darn nice CD. The people who recorded it are very familiar with the Autoharp. They made my Oscar Schmidt Autoharp that I recorded it with sound just the way I wanted it. God alone knows what they could do with the Tahoma.
Oh, I know.
But no, it's a really great CD. If you haven't already got one, or even if you have, buy another one. And like I say, I don't benefit at all. I'm giving all of the money to Southeastern Guide Dogs.
And you get to share your feelings about dogs and the things that happen between people and dogs throughout the relationship, and it's beautifully done.
Thank you. I had a great time.
Andy Dewberry is here.
Hey, Doob!
Hope you're good. Hope you are.
We are. Hope you are too. When are we going to get together and jam?
Yeah, good to hear from you.
I got an Autoharp with a pickup now. I can plug it in.
Right.
I don't have an amp right now, but I got a.
You got one with a pickup.
I got one with a built-in pickup now.
This is the Tahoma.
Yeah.
This is a beautiful instrument.
This is the Tahoma from Pete Daigle.
Yes.
If you are on the low end, if you don't have a lot of money, this is the best buy for your money if you want to get into a luthier auto harp.
Yes.
This is the first one I've ever owned.
It has the most beautiful sound, especially up there.
Yeah.
Andy said, soon, hopefully, kids keep me busy.
Yeah,
I know
they
what you
do.
mean. They do.
Anyway.
That was pretty.
Anyway, where are we? I've lost my place.
I don't know.
Okay. Here is a song called Desert Pete. It was written by Bill Ed Wheeler, who wrote things like Ode to the Little Brown Shack Out Back and that song I do at Halloween, Bringing Mary Home.
Oh, yeah.
And there's taxes everywhere, after taxes. He's kind of like Dick Feller that way. He writes on unusual topics, but this is one of his. And it was done, well, the hit was made by the Kingston Trio called Desert Pete. I was traveling west of Buckskin on my way to a cattle run across a little cactus desert under a hot, blistering sun. I was thirsty down to my toenails, stopped to rest me on a stump, but I tell you, I just couldn't believe it when I saw that water pump. I took it to be a mirage at first. It'll fool a thirsty man. Then I saw a note stuck in a baking powder can. This pump is old, the note began, but she works, so give her a try. I put in a new sucker washer in her. You may find the leather dry. You've got to prime the pump. You must have faith and believe. You've got to give of yourself, for you're worthy to receive. Drink all the water you can hold. Wash your face, cool your feet. Leave a bottle full for others. Thank you kindly, Desert Pete. Yeah, you'll have to prime the pump. Work the handle like there's a fire. Under that rock you'll find some water I left in a bitters jar. Now there's just enough to prime it with, so don't you go drinking first. You just pour it in, pump like mad, buddy, you'll quench your thirst. You've got to prime the pump. You must have faith and believe. You've got to give of yourself, for you're worthy to receive. Drink all the water you can hold. Wash your face, cool your feet. Leave the bottle full for others. Thank you kindly, Desert Pete. Well, I found that jar, and I tell you, nothing was ever prettier to my eye. And I was tempted strong to drink it, 'cause that pump looked mighty dry. But the note went on, have faith, my friend, there's water down below. You've got to give until you get. I'm the one that ought to know. So I poured in the jar and I started pumping, and I heard a beautiful sound of water bubbling and splashing up out of that hole in the ground. I took off my shoes and I drunk my fill of that cool, refreshing treat. I thanked the Lord and I thanked the pump and I thanked old Desert Pete. You've got to prime the pump. You must have faith and believe. You've got to give of yourself, for you're worthy to receive. Drink all the water you can hold. Wash your face, cool your feet. Leave the bottle full for others. Thank you kindly, Desert Pete. Drink all the water you can hold. Wash your face, cool your feet. Leave the bottle full for others. Thank you kindly, Desert Pete.
Yeah. Wow.
First time I heard that song was on a TV, an ABC TV show that was on like between 9 and 10 on Saturday night called Hootenanny.
Ah.
Back in when folk music was king.
Wow.
other than the fact that I didn't really like the life and times that at that period of our history, I would love to go back there knowing what I know now.
Oh, yeah.
But then my life would have changed, and maybe we'd never met, and that would have been terrible.
Yeah. Rather like the way things went after all.
Me too.
There's that dog back again.
Hi, what do you want?
Andy said, have that old man to play me some Wildwood Flower. Always loved hearing him play that thing.
If you must. I don't play this very often. There's one in every crowd. There you go, Doob.
There. Wow.
Okay. This is a song that was written and recorded by R.J. Vandegrift III. Robert Joseph, I believe, is what the initials stand for. I heard it.
Andy said, awesome.
Thank
CY
you.
for thank you.
Glad you like it. I don't remember what year it was. We were in this location in our old house, and I was still enough of a football fan back then to listen to the Super Bowl, if I could. Well, I'm an old-fashioned kind of guy, and it never occurred to me that I might find it on the internet, so I fired up my AM radio, and I'm tuning all over the band to find it. And those of you who are old enough to remember AM radio, it changes based on things like weather conditions, time of day, all kinds of things like that. So I'm listening to the Super Bowl, and I'm into the middle of the third quarter, and the station that I was listening to just faded away and died.
No.
So I'm tuning frantically around the AM dial to find the game again. I don't even remember which one it was or who was playing, but as I was going along, I heard, and the world's gone to hell since John Wayne died. And I said, what?
What? Sadie, come on, back up now. You can't do that.
So I stopped, and I listened to the rest of the song, and I launched a dogged internet search, and after about 6 months, I came across it on a radio program that was online from WPOV in Bend, Oregon. So anyway, here it is, and it's called Since John Wayne Died. I was sitting in the branding iron on the north side of Cowtown when an old cowboy walked through the door. You could tell he'd been around. He tipped his hat to the waitress and she smiled back at him. Then he looked my way and nodded and said, "How are you, my friend?" Do you mind if I join you, son? I hate to drink alone. I said, not at all. Drag up a stool, pard, make yourself at home. He hollered, barkeep, bring me whiskey, and let me buy one for my friend. Then he knocked the dust off his cowboy hat, and this is what he said. Son, I think you better take her out.
Yeah,
You have to go out?
I'm not sure. Maybe I better tend them both. If
Well, Greg had her out. I hate to interrupt. Lulu?
that's
you're-
Sadie.
you- Oh, that's Sadie?
Yeah, that's
Go on.
the problem. I don't. That she shouldn't need to go or anything.
All right.
She just wants attention.
Okay.
That's our Great Dane,
That's,
and
yeah. And now I get to start over because
I'm
I've lost
terribly
my
sorry
place.
there, George.
No, that's okay. It's not your
She's-
fault.
Well, she's my dog.
Let's see if I can get through this intro again.
Well, I liked it.
I was sitting in the branding iron on the north side of Cowtown when an old cowboy walked through the door. You could tell he'd been around. He tipped his hat to the waitress and she smiled back at him. Then he looked my way and nodded and said, "How are you, young man? Do you mind if I join you, son? I hate to drink alone." I said, "Not at all. Drag up a stool, pard, make yourself at home." He hollered, "Barkeep, bring me whiskey, and let me buy one for my friend." Then he knocked the dust off his cowboy hat, and this is what he said. "Son, anyone ever tell you a mean-hearted woman is way too hard to please? But a good-natured gal is the kind that a cowboy needs. Oh, an honest politician ain't nothing but a lie, and the world's gone to hell since John Wayne died." I'm just a cowboy, son, that's all I've ever been. And if I could live life over, I'd cowboy all again. We used to ride good horses, now most of them are gone. These educated know-it-alls done bred out all the bone. I rode 4 big outfits from the Red to the Rio Grande, and kissed all the pretty girls from here to old Cheyenne. "Hey, barkeep, one more whiskey and another for my friend." Then he pushed back his cowboy hat, and this is what he said. "Son, did I mention a mean-hearted woman is way too hard to please? But a good-natured gal is the kind that a cowboy needs. Oh, an honest politician ain't nothing but a lie, and the world's gone to hell since John Wayne died." Now I just left the doc's place and I'm running out of time. But if I can see the sun tomorrow, I'll be 89. Young Doc said, "Take it easy, I need to slow down. But if I got any slower, boy, I'd be 6 foot underground." Well, I've enjoyed our visit, hope to see you down the trail. Remember what I told you, son, my words will serve you well. "Hey, barkeep, one more whiskey, not for me, just my friend." Then he pulled down his cowboy hat, and this is what he said. "Son, don't ever forget, a mean-hearted woman is way too hard to please. But a good-natured gal is the kind that a cowboy needs. Oh, an honest politician ain't nothing but a lie, and the world's gone to hell since John Wayne died."
Wow. Lavonda said, got to go, but great show as usual.
Well, thanks, Lavonda. Thanks for coming
So
by.
glad you came by.
I appreciate it very much.
We are at 2:53 or 2:52, whichever it is.
Here's one that was written by Thomas Land and recorded by the Kingston Trio. It's called Tom Dooley. Hang down your head, Tom Dooley. Hang down your head and cry. Hang down your head, Tom Dooley. Poor boy, you're bound to die. Met her on the mountain. There I took her life. Met her on a mountain. And I stabbed her with my knife. Well, now, boy, hang down your head, Tom Dooley. Hang down your head and cry. Hang down your head, Tom Dooley. Poor boy, you're bound to die. By this time tomorrow, reckon where I'll be. If it hadn't been for Grayson, I'd have been in Tennessee. Well, now, boy, hang down your head, Tom Dooley. Hang down your head and cry. Hang down your head, Tom Dooley. Poor boy, you're bound to die. By this time tomorrow, reckon where I'll be. Down in some lonesome valley, hanging from a white oak tree. Well, now, boy, hang down your head, Tom Dooley. Hang down your head and cry. Hang down your head, Tom Dooley. Poor boy, you're bound to die. Poor boy, you're bound to die.
Always loved that one.
Here's one that was written and recorded by Tom Paxton. Let me know if we get comments. Otherwise, I'm going to move right along and try to get all these
Nothing since
done.
Lavonda.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. This one's called Sully's Bucket.
Oh.
I've a thing or two to tell you that I think you ought to know about that rusty bucket Sully carries down below. You're not the first one, stranger, that has laughed at Sully's pail. You're the only one that's laughing now. The rest has heard this tale. Sure, when we was young and handsome, had some 10 years in the game. Old Sul, he had a partner, and Jim Riley was his name. They'd knocked about together Bingham, Butte, and Coeur d'Alene, and they'd brawled in every bar room from Ely to Fort McLean. Now me and old Ted Johnson, sure you'll not remember him. We was working at the Raris, had a stoke with Sul and Jim. The four of us together, we was working side by side. That's how come I chanced to be there on the night Jim Riley died. Where the blasting had been easy, it was coming out like sand. And we was mucking out the ore, those days we mucked by hand. And we was nearly finished, and we hadn't heard a sound. But something must have happened, for Jim Riley held that ground. As we came around the Orcar, Sully must have took a spill. For when we looked back in there, he was pinned beneath his drill. The ceiling it was groaning, now I'll set to drop the lid. And Sully, pinned beneath his drill, was sobbing like a kid. Now there's men can watch their partners die, not throw their lives away. But Riley wasn't one of them, he wasn't built that way. Soon as he seen what happened, hey, hold on there, Sol, he cried. And before he had the words out, he had thrown the drill aside. Well, they came around the Orcar, Riley wearing a big grin. Guess he never knew what happened when the hanging wall caved in. Sully reached the timber in his face as white as chalk. And Riley 2 yards back of him caught 15 tons of rock. That day Sully's pail was buried, he ate from Riley's pail in tears. And he carried that same bucket now for more than 20 years. So you can laugh at Sul because he's mean and drinks a lot. But don't laugh at Sully's bucket, it's the only friend he's got.
Mike Mueller is here.
Hey, Mike!
He says, great set as always. Happy holidays.
Same to you.
Same to you. It's good to have you.
It's really great to have you here.
Yeah.
Yeah, really is. And I'm glad you're enjoying the tunes we got together for us here. Here's another song. It was written by Tommy Collins and Jimmy Dean sang it. And it's called Sam Hill. There's a certain hill outside of town called Sam Hill, and a certain guy used to go there every day. They said a certain girl lived up in Sam Hill. Oh, pretty girl, not hep to city ways. This certain guy would come down the hill a grinning. Yeah, heading back to town at the crack of dawn. And he had 'em all a-wondering what he's a-doing. They was a-wondering what the Sam Hill's going on. We knew this certain guy was not a gold miner, but 'cause he never took a shovel or a pick. All he ever took was a little box of candy. Man, but he disappeared in Sam Hill awful quick. We tried to follow him to his destination, but he found his secret path and soon he's gone. And he had us all a-wondering what he's a-doing. He always a-wondering what the Sam Hill's going on. I know you two wondered about Sam Hill. You probably said, what in Sam Hill's going on? All I can say in answer to your question is, friend, the goings on is still a-going on. This certain guy's still taking up that candy, though he's 99 and all his youth is gone. He climbs that hill and still comes down a grinning. Oh, but we're wondering what the Sam Hill's going on. Got a pretty good idea what in Sam Hill's going on. I ain't gonna tell nobody what in Sam Hill's going on. I wish he'd tell us what in Sam Hill's going on.
have Sadie has returned, and it is 3:03.
All right. Well, should we quit? I've got 2 to go.
Well, Sadie, you have to back off. I don't know what she.
Sadie, you have to wait.
You have to wait.
You
Very
have
good
to
girl.
wait.
That's right. Go. Oh, and I have Bob Hale. Another lovely night here. Thanks, Lynn and George.
Oh, you're welcome.
2 X's for kisses, I think.
Thank you.
Sweet.
I'll tell you what. We'll let me.
And Flip said, "Keep going."
Okay. All right. That's 1 vote. Okay.
Well,
the polls are now closed.
That's right. Polls are closed.
The election was a unanimous.
Yes. Dogs don't get a vote, unfortunately. We're going to disenfranchise them.
This song was written by Ben Raleigh and Jeff Berry and was recorded in 1957 by Jeff Peterson, sorry. And it's one of those 50s. It's called Tell Laura I Love Her.
Oh.
Laura and Tommy were lovers. He wanted to give her everything. Flowers, presents, and most of all, a wedding ring. He saw a sign for a stock car race. $1,000 prize, it said. He couldn't get Laura on the phone, so to her mother, Tommy said, "Tell Laura I love her. Tell Laura I need her. Tell Laura I may be late. I've something to do that cannot wait." Drove his car to the racing ground. He was the youngest driver there, and the crowd roared as they started the race. Round the track they drove at a deadly pace. No one knows what happened that day, how his car overturned in flames. But as they pulled him from the twisted wreck, with his dying breath, they heard him say, "Tell Laura I love her. Tell Laura I need her. Tell Laura not to cry. My love for her will never die." In the chapel where Laura prays for her Tommy who passed away, it was just for Laura he lived and died. Alone in the chapel she could hear him cry, "Tell Laura I love her. Tell Laura I need her. Tell Laura not to cry. My love for her will never die."
I have to say, good dog. Sadie came over. She never touched you. And I'm pointing this way and doing hand signals.
I felt
her
whiskers on the back of my hand. We're almost done, Sadie. Okay. Having kids. Okay, here's a song that was a poem written by A.A. Milne of Winnie the Pooh fame and set to music by William Chadbourne Mitchell of the Chad Mitchell Trio.
Wow.
And it's called James Morrison Morrison.
Oh.
James Morrison Morrison, Weatherby, George Dupree, took great care of his mother, though he was only 3. James said to his mother, "Mother," he said he, "don't ever go down to the end of the town if you don't go down with me. Don't ever go down to the end of the town if you don't go down with me." James Morrison's mother, she put on her golden gown. James Morrison's mother, she drove to the end of the town. James Morrison's mother said to herself, said she, "Well, I can get down to the end of the town and be back in time for tea. Well, I can get down to the end of the town and be back in time for tea." King John put up a notice, lost, stolen, or strayed. James Morrison's mother, she seems to have been mislaid. Wandering vaguely all about, quite of her own accord, she tried to get down to the end of the town for 2 shillings reward. She tried to get down to the end of the town for 2 shillings reward. Now James Morrison, commonly known as Jim, said to his other relations not to go blaming him. For James said to his mother, "Mother," he said he, "don't ever go down to the end of the town if you don't go down with me. You must never go down to the end of the town if you don't go down with me." Great James Morrison's mother, she hasn't been heard of since. King John said he was sorry, and so did the Queen and the Prince. King John, somebody told me, said to a man he knew, "If people go down to the end of the town, well, what can anyone do? If people go down to the end of the town, well, what can anyone do?"
Wow.
Well, folks, we've come to the end of another great afternoon, and it's been a real pleasure visiting with all of you. We'll be back on the 10th of December. Don't know what the topic's going to be. And then the 24th, we'll spend a little bit of our Christmas Eve with you and do our usual humorous look at Christmas.
Yes.
So that's what's coming up. Say, if you could spare a buck or two to put in our tip jar, we'd really appreciate it. All the money is going to go toward airfare, which is the only part of my trip to MLAG that I haven't got covered yet. So if you could help out, I'd appreciate it. And, if you can't, that's fine too. But if you could help out, we'd really appreciate it. And
I have Ziggy here saying, "Thanks, George and Lynn, for another great concert.
You're welcome, Ziggy.
I enjoyed your singing and playing very much. George, see you in a few hours." And
yes.
Ivan, thanks for another great concert.
Thanks, Ivan.
Thanks, Ivan.
You bet. And let me leave you all with the words, some words from my favorite singing cowboy, Roy Rogers. Goodbye, good luck, and may the good Lord take a liking to you. Well, now it's time to say goodbye to George and all his kin. We'd sure like to thank you folks for kindly dropping in. You're all invited back real soon to this locality to have a heaping helping of our hospitality. Down home style, that is. Set a spell. Take shoes off. Y'all come back now, here.
I have two I want to say. Philippa said, "Good job, guys." And
Thanks, Philippa.
Marjorie McRoberts, and I've enjoyed
Oh, hello,
today.
Marjorie.
It has kept me going applying stain. Well,
Wow.
well, thank you for
Well, thank
being
you
with us.
for being with us, Marjorie. I don't think you've been with us before, but thanks for pulling your hands out of the staining rag there and leaving us a comment. We really appreciate it. Tell your friends about us, and
We'll see you next
come back
time.
and see us.
Absolutely.